What's up guys, and welcome to this video. This video is all about internet connections. Now I always get pretty much every single day various people asking me about different components that they can put in their PC. So I get a list of components, normally from somewhere like Part Picker, and they are basically saying, look, I've made this, is it alright if you have a quick check through it for me and then tell me if there's anything that you think I should change. Now normally there's not actually, normally people are pretty good and have done their research very well. Obviously sometimes a few things I might say, oh you need a slightly better power supply, or you've gone a little bit too big on the RAM, or something like that. But normally they're pretty good. But there is something that quite often comes up that I see that I don't necessarily think should be there. And that is wireless PCI Express, PCIe cards. And then these essentially mean that you can use your desktop computer to connect to Wi-Fi internet and then be able to use your desktop computer anywhere you want, except it's a desktop computer. So you're connecting to a wireless connection, which is all about portability, when you're not actually going to be using your computer in a portable way. Now I understand why people do this. They think that they can't get a wireless wired, they can't get an Ethernet cable into their computer because maybe they're not near their modem, not near their router, or they just don't want a really long cable running from point A to point B. And obviously that's fair enough. But there is a solution for this problem that doesn't relying on the pretty sometimes rubbish Wi-Fi, and that is Powerline. Now I've talked about Powerline before, and you should see a little I either here or here that will link you to the original video that explains how it works and how to set it up and the main benefits. But I just wanted to recap a little bit and look at a more high-end Powerline connector just to show you the sorts of things that you can get without having to rely on a wireless connection. So then, wireless is great for portability. It was built for portability in mind so that you can take your laptop, your tablet, whatever you want, wherever you want, and still connect to some high performance internet. Now the main problem with Wi-Fi is that your response time is going to be pretty rubbish. So this is your ping is going to be pretty high, and then this essentially means that your connection to the server is going to be that little bit slower. Now this is normally fine because you're doing stuff like web browsing and just things like that don't rely on a really fast ping. But as soon as you start to want to do things like gaming, then that becomes a lot more critical to have a really low ping, and then you're not literally pinging all over the map because your internet connection isn't up to it. So this can sometimes happen with wireless. So a lot of people will use a wired connection. So this goes straight from your modem or straight from your router into your computer for the best possible connection. Now if you can't do that, and to be honest I can't really do that. I mean there's only one location that I spend a lot of time when I am directly connected to the router, and normally I go through a LAN. But if I can't do that, then I use these things right here. And these are Powerline connections. So you see they plug into the wall like so. This is obviously a UK edition, but you're going to get ones for all different regions. So if you're in Europe or Japan or wherever you are, you're going to get one that is relevant to you. They plug straight into the wall, and then at the top you see we have an Ethernet cable that runs from here, and then the other end obviously goes into your device. So if it's a computer, a TV, whatever it is. And now these are great because your connection is going to be of a wired standard without actually having to physically be in the same room or have a really long physical cable that goes to your modem or router. Now the way this works is it sends your internet through your power line in your house. So the same power that you used your TV, those wires are now going to also become internet enabled, so you're going to get your internet traveling through those as well. Now this isn't quite as good as having a dedicated Ethernet cable from point A to point B, but it is very close, and it is a lot better than just using your standard wireless connection, especially when your computer is probably going to be in a corner at the bottom of a room in pretty much a dead spot anyway. So if you can, always use a Powerline connection when you can't get a wired connection on a non-portable device. Now when you're choosing a Powerline kit, there are kind of two things to bear in mind. Firstly is the theoretical speed that you get across your network, and then the other one is whether it's actually got AC pass-through, so whether you'll be able to actually plug a device into it. So if you don't have that, you're going to be losing an electrical socket, but if you do, then you can plug, say, your TV into the unit itself. Now in the previous Powerline video I looked at more of a budget entry-level sort of system, But TP-Link have been kind enough to send another one over that is more high-end. And this one is a AV1200 kit, and if you have guessed it from the numbers, its theoretical speed is 1200 megabits per second, rather than some of the others that are either 200 or 500. Now the benefits of this is that you can fit more devices on your network while still maintaining high speeds, and the actual speeds of each unit should in theory be increased as well. So if you're going to be doing something like streaming to Ultra HD TVs or using a NAS or something like that, you'll probably want to look at a more high-end unit so you can get those better speeds. Now this particular starter kit comes with 2 units and 2 Ethernet cables. These units each have 3 gigabit Ethernet ports on the top, so you should be able to get the most out of your super fast internet connection, as well as anything else that you've got attached to your network, like I say, a NAS or some other computers or any sort of shared hard drives. Now the units itself look pretty good. I mean, I'm not going to be doing a full review of these units, plainly because I haven't tested the competition, so it wouldn't be fair for me to say this is brilliant or this is not brilliant, because I don't really have anything to compare it to. But my experience with the units is very good. I did have a slight bit of issue connecting it initially, but that was just because I've got 2 different circuits, and just turning one off and on again actually managed to fix the problem, so I don't really count that against it. If you have multiple electrical circuits in your house, then performance will drop if you're using a different circuit to the one that your power line is connected to, if that makes sense. So if your modem is on the electrical circuit downstairs, but you've got a separate one upstairs that you want to use your device, then the performance will drop slightly, but it shouldn't really be a major issue. I've tested these units and I found that the speeds is what I would expect it to be. Again, I wouldn't say it's anything outstanding, but there's nothing wrong with it. It just kind of almost does the job, which is what you'd expect. So these are the sorts of units that you're going to want if you, say, have a TV, a games console, a Blu-ray player or something like that, where you need multiple sockets and the higher speed of these power lines. So thank you so much for checking out this video. Like I say, if you're going to be getting a desktop computer, please use a desktop connection. So that's either via a LAN, through an Ethernet cable, through some switches or something like that, or by using a power line. Wi-Fi really should be your last resort. Last person, good friend, Alex, he knows who he is, didn't listen to my advice, got a Wi-Fi card, told me I was right 3 or 4 months later. So don't be Alex, and do get yourself some power lines if you haven't already. So thank you so much for checking out this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you thought it was useful. If it wasn't very useful, then don't subscribe, leave a dislike. But if you thought it was useful, then subscribe and give this video a like. If you want to ask me anything, be it about power lines, computers, games, anything like that, at PCcentric on Twitter is the best place to do it. Or you can always leave a comment below, but it is much easier if you're asking me a direct question to do it on Twitter. So thank you so much for checking out this video, and I'll see you in the next one.